But to like speak to the Courtney side of things, that was in the works before I ever got there, you
Yeah.
know?
I mean, probably, but I understand the business dynamics of why we don't do it in the running world, but it sucks and I hate that we don't because yeah, same thing on another level. It's like people are really big fans of some of these athletes and it'd be cool. Like how else do you connect and like
Yeah.
and show that connection you have with that athlete? It's like you just talk about the YouTube film you watched of them all the time, you know? It's like
Yeah.
and it's cool that Courtney has a shoe now, but it's like I wish more runners did so we could support them
Yeah.
and show that. But
I don't know if my ideas are fully formed on, like, athlete collab shoes at this
yeah,
point, but I will say, as a counter argument against the whole NBA, there's too many shoes, right? Like,
yeah,
there's too many signature shoes in the NBA. I would argue that there are more players in the space, in terms of brand players in the space in running, where they could still feel unique in a way. Whereas, like, in basketball, the main people or the main brands that are playing in the space for this, uh, collaborative shoe space is largely Nike, a few Adidas, Li-Ning, right? Like, Anta maybe, right? So there's 4 brands or so that are playing in the space, and they own all of the properties around the athletes. So I can see that it's in more of an apples and oranges thing when we compare the sports potentially, where we have the potential for Atreyu to put out a signature shoe next to a Nike signature shoe, next to a Brooks signature shoe, next to a Solomon signature shoe, and it could feel unique in itself because all of those different shoes, or different brands have different design language and different storytelling properties and different, approaches to things. So maybe it could work. I'm not opposed. I'm not gonna be the person to say like, no way, just because, it reached saturation in basketball means that we would here too. I don't know.
I know we're both big Second Nature fans, Dylan
Yeah.
Bowman's podcast, but they did a really cool episode talking about Courtney's Solomon shoe and about like how to do that well and how well Solomon did it. Because like the big reason we don't is runners don't stay at companies forever, and these molds are really expensive, and you don't want to tie a shoe to an athlete and then they leave. And but like yeah, you can like do specific colorways for a season and stuff, and like they talked about